Hi there, folks. It's Jonathan Denwood here, and I'm going to be talking in this video about the right hosting for your LearnDash plugin membership community focused website in 2025. It's really important that you get the right hosting for LearnDash to get the fantastic experience you can get from it. At WP-Tonic, we've got a ton of knowledge and information in this area. I'll be back in a few moments, folks. Coming back, folks. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about what is the right type of hosting for your LearnDash website. Now, it's really important to get this right because a lot of people, there's a lot of misinformation and out of date of information out there about the right type of hosting for a learning management plugin like LearnDash. There are a lot of providers, some of the bigger ones that have a lot of legacy kind of hosting setups, and they're not really right for a learning management system, like I say, in 2025. There's a lot like shared hosting, VP, virtual private hosting, um, having your own physical server. These are still out there. And for small type of websites or non-membership community subscription focused websites, some of these solutions are not suitable. Now, with modern hosting, it's more cloud-based. Um, where you get hosting from Microsoft, you get it from DigitalOcean, you get it from Google, you get it from as Amazon Web Services, Vulture. There's a host of top tier and second tier. I mean by second tier, smaller players. I don't mean that they're second tier in quality. There's a host of cloud-based players there, but there's a host of large hosting providers that have got legacy um, hosting setups that which they're gradually turning to cloud. But they've got enormous investment in this legacy technologies, hosting technologies. Now, in my opinion, if you the other factor is that a lot of the problems that occur with not the right hosting only really rear their ugly head when you actually start getting some students to sign up. When you're building out, or you've only got a few test students or people that are testing for you, everything's going to look fine. And you think, oh, I didn't have to spend um, the kind of level of money from my hosting provider that I've been told in this video and other videos. They know what they're talking about. The problem with that is, as soon as you start getting some students in the system, it all goes wrong really quickly, based on my experience and a ton of experience we've got at WP Tonic. Now, some of the hosting providers that, in my opinion, I wouldn't even consider hosting LearnDash with is GoDaddy, unless I was looking at some of their top plans or their high performance company, which is Pagely, which they bought a few years ago. I really wouldn't touch them. I really wouldn't touch them on any level because of their support quality or the lack of support that you get from GoDaddy. I think they're atrocious myself, but that's my opinion. Bluehost, I don't rate them when it comes to a learning management system or a community like for Fluent Community or Buddy Boss. I just don't hack them. SiteGround, I don't rate them anymore. They've got a lot of legacy technology in a lot of their plans, and I just don't rate them anymore. So I wouldn't touch them. These are my opinions, folks. Now, the other big question in the room is that LearnDash is owned by a hosting provider. It's owned by a company called Liquid Web, and they do. If you go to the LearnDash, they do offer an option where they offer LearnDash and some other plugins with their with hosting that comes from Liquid Web. In my opinion, Liquid Web isn't a great hosting provider either. They were bought out a few years ago by VC Capital. Um, that basically these companies buy existing businesses and then they tend not to invest in them and they cut expenses down. They cut down on the headcount and they cut down on various other expenses around support and a host of other things. And then they resell the company or they they try and take the company public. And that's my opinion about Liquid Web. In general, I think I've seen them cutting down on their support staff and the general environment, basically. I don't think it's a great idea in general to utilize. They're not the only business in WordPress. Elementor, which is a page builder, they provide a hosted solution with Elementor, their page building plugin. I think you should keep your hosting separate from the plugin, the learning management plugin that you're utilizing. I would keep it separate, folks. Um, I just don't think their hosting is fantastic, and you don't get it at a great discount, the price of the hosting anyway. Now, what are some of the providers that I would recommend? Well, I think all of them are going to, if it's month to month, they're all going to be around $30 to $40 a month to month. They're going to be around that price, the type of plan that you should go with. Um, you're going to get a reasonable experience. Kinster's a good hosting provider. Um, I think I haven't used them. Another one called Rocket.net. They've got a good reputation as well. Um, I think WP Engine, they're good people. You get good support. I actually wouldn't recommend them for a learning management system or a community focused website for Fluent Community or Buddy Boss because they use a caching technology. And don't get me wrong, in general, there's nothing wrong about caching technologies. WP Engine utilize one called Varnish, and it can cause some real problems and aggro when it comes to a learning management plugin. And they will try and remove it or restrict it to the pages that are causing the problem. But I always find it always comes back with WP Engine, and it's a constant fight. And it's just not worth the aggro, folks. So, yeah, you get good support from WP Engine, and they're one of the better hosting companies. They are also owned by VC money. And the things I said about Liquid Web, I think also affecting WP Engine as well, to be truthful about it, but that's my opinion. Another great hosting provider, but it's more in the higher price bracket, is Conversio. They're a great team, and they really do know what they're doing. But you're going to have to have a growing membership website and really look for that quality. If you're one of those, Conversio is a good solution as well. And there's about half a dozen out there. I'm not going to go through every one in this video. I've written an article with all the links and the additional recommendations. You find that in the description underneath this video. I don't like these videos being too long, folks. So just to finish off, it's not another provider is Cloudways. They're very popular, but that's really for the kind of developer type, the power WordPress power user type, because they are now owned by DigitalOcean, They just don't sell DigitalOcean. You find the keenest price will be DigitalOcean on Cloudways, but they they at one time they were cutting down all the other choices, but I think they got so much pushback that now they provide a series of cloud providers like Vulture. Um, I'm a big fan of Vulture. That's what, it's one of the things we offer at WP Engine, not WP Engine, at WP-Tonic. And I've got to be honest with you, we are a hosting provider, but so I like Vulture and they do offer it. But it's the support. The support is quite good, but it expects you to have a certain amount of knowledge, technical knowledge, to kind of ask your questions in the right, what they consider to be the right way. So I don't think for the average business owner that's just trying to build their membership website, that cloud way is a really the right solution for you. Um, but you can make that choice. The other thing you've got to understand when you're buying your hosting is you're buying the support you're getting. Um, if you go the cheaper end, if you don't listen to what I'm saying in this video and you go with GoDaddy, I won't deal with anybody that wants to host with GoDaddy. I can't, I'm not dealing with clients directly like that anyway at WP-Tonic. But when I was, I wouldn't take on a client that insisted that we use GoDaddy because it wasted so much of my time, folks, having to deal with those clowns, in my opinion. So I won't deal with them, and I advise you not to deal with them. So I'm going to finish this video. Hopefully you found it useful. If you do, give us a like and think about subscribing to the channel. That really shows YouTube that I'm doing something right, and I really would appreciate it. I'll see you soon, folks. Bye.